again, everybody. I hope you all are having a good day. Sorry my hair is such a mess, but at least it's clean. And I'm in my pajamas again, of course, but, well, I've only been up a couple of hours, so things got busy as soon as I got up, and I just haven't had time to get dressed in my day clothes. Lesson 9, General Questions. Number 1, after you have made a personal study of the tarot, decide how you will spread the cards, what method works the best for you. Now, for me, the Celtic Cross is the most common, the most typical, but there's also an extended version where you use 5 extra cards: Earth, Air, Fire, Water, and Spiritual Transformation. So what those cards mean and do is it's each element trying to guide you additionally in some way so that you will reach spiritual transformation. So you have to literally put, when you do the Celtic Cross, you put down the 5 cards, you do it in this order: Earth, Air, Fire, Water, then in the middle of those, spiritual transformation. Number 2, what tarot cards were you initially attracted to? List them and tell what significance each card has for you. Well, with that one, I would have to say the Hermit, because that's my card in the deck. And it's also the 9th card of the deck, I guess. So the number 9 kind of ties in with it as well. And he's old and wise and looking down over mankind with his lantern and his cane. He has a lot of wisdom, but his age is kind of catching up with him, you know. He's an ancient, so he, in my feeling, he is Father Time. He is Father Saturn, or the planet Saturn, which is my, strongest planet and influences. Number 3, on a separate paper, make a print of each of your palms. Watch how your hands change from year to year. To make a print, press your hand in silkscreen, ink, paint, or other colored substance and press as flat as possible on a page. Relate some of your experiences with chiromancy, which I have no idea how to do. What major observations did you make when you first began studying hands, and how accurate were your impressions? What did you see in your own hands? Now that gets into like palm reading and stuff, which I've never learned how to do. Number 4, construct your own natal horoscope. List the basic interpretations of each planet as they seem to fit your person. And they have a lovely little chart here that you can do. And then you just fill in your own information. Exam questions for lesson 9. Number 1, after trying at least 3 different spreads for the tarot and doing at least 6 readings with each spread, write down which of the spreads you prefer and why. Number 2, imagine that you are in the middle of doing a tarot reading for a friend using the Rider-Waite deck. The major arcana card, the Tower, appears in the position of the immediate future. What interpretation would you place on it? It is realized that much would depend on the other cards around it. Just give your interpretation for this one card, however. Number 3, in this same hypothetical reading, the final outcome for your friend is the 5 of Pentacles. What is your interpretation of that card in that position? Number 4, if you do not own a crystal ball but want to try scrying, what could you use in its place? With that one, you could use a bowl of water, preferably a black bowl, or you could use a scrying mirror, which also has to be painted black. If you do the black bowl method, the idea is you put a silver coin, like a dime or a nickel or something like that, down inside of it, and you let that coin be your focal point, and then you just kind of let your mind go blank and open it up to whatever the messages are that comes through. Number 5, in chiromancy, what is the difference between the left hand and the right hand for purposes of interpretation? Now, I always get them confused, but I know like the right hand is the female, or like one hand is the female side, the other hand is the masculine side. Number 6, when reading tea leaves, you see a bell and a horseshoe down low in the cup, but by the handle. What do they mean? Again, I don't know. 7, A, what can you say about John F. Kennedy, going just by the name, according to numerology? B, by numerology, were Napoleon and Josephine compatible? And number 8, an astrological chart shows a Pisces ascendant. What could you say about the person? So, again, a lot of the questions I can't answer if I really think about them. See, I know a single card spread is the 3 main ones I go by. A single card is a daily message. Like you can literally do one every day. Just draw a random card, shuffle the cards a bit, draw a random card and say, what is my message for the day? And whatever card comes up, you read it and interpret it and see how it unfolds throughout your day. The second one would be the 3-card spread, which is usually past, present, future. And then the third, of course, Celtic Cross, either the regular or the extended, which is 15 cards. Now, as far as the tower, I think it depends on the position. Like if it's upright, it could, but again, depending on the other cards around it, it could foretell a cautionary blow up that may happen between you and someone. If it's reversed, then it means something different. I don't know if it's like the blow up won't be as bad, or if it means something altogether different, because as long as I've been doing them doesn't mean that I have every single meaning memorized or anything of that sort. And the 5 of Pentacles and the being the last card, so that would be the 10th card, going by the regular Celtic Cross. Well, 5 of Pentacles, I think usually shows, if I'm not mistaken, it shows I could be wrong, but in the Rider-Waite deck, I think it shows a couple homeless walking out in the snow with tattered clothing, and they're walking by a church. And the 5 of Pentacles, the 5 Pentacles are in the window. I could be wrong though, and so that could mean hard times. It could also be a cautionary tale to maybe the cautionary message rather, to curb your spending, because there may be an unforeseen expense that's going to be coming up that you have no idea about until it slams you, and then you're like, oh crap, I should have saved that money. And maybe that's what the 5 of Pentacles was trying to tell me. So like I said, I can't give all of them. And as much material as there is in these, I have to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be feeling up to going back and reading through the materials. So if you really want to know, you're going to have to buy the book or find it at the library or something, because that's just too much to read. And it would take several live streams just to read it all. And as much as I would love to do that, I don't have the patience. I don't have the time. I can't guarantee or commit to, okay, I'm going to read this through. And then some of them, you got like 20 pages or more just to read through that section. So I apologize for saying I would read through it, because I just don't think I can. So again, that's why I'm kind of putting my own spin on this, of see how much of it you can answer instinctually. What do you feel is the right answer? Or go out and get other books maybe at the library and see if you can find the answer some way in those books. Or because a lot of it, or if not all of it, is within you. And if you want to know, you can always say, Goddess and God, help me with this. I can't afford the book. Can you help me understand this material so that I can answer the question properly? Like ask for a guideline, and I'm sure that as long as you're open to them, they will come through and they will help you as best they can. because committing to reading through all the material it's unrealistic, because, as soon as I start doing that, somebody's going to be blowing my phone up, wanting me to talk to them. Someone's going to be knocking on my door, wanting to hang out. I mean, it would be frustrating, and it would put me in a bad mood, and I wouldn't be able to interpret correctly, because then I would be annoyed with that person, because they're interrupting something important. So I would rather avoid that altogether, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a friend coming by to say, hey, what are you doing today? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to go out and do something or whatever? Okay. What is my affirmation for today? Forgiveness. Again. Congratulations, you're being given one of the most powerful superpowers there is, forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by radioactive that part of it's stupid. Forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself too. Have fun wielding your new power, but remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. I get that one a lot. Okay. What is the general affirmation for everybody else? Engagement. Okay, who of you out there is being engaged? Because engaged doesn't always mean married. It can be engaged, in a project or something like that. Today, I make the conscious choice to engage with the world in an active way. See, I'll take a new route and talk to strangers. I will smell flowers and pet dogs, and maybe walk around barefoot for a while if I'm not inside a 7-Eleven at the very least. I'll have a day that's slightly more interesting than average, and at the most, I'll have a startling epiphany or make a friend who will change my life forever. No pressure. So that should make things interesting for anybody that pertains to. I still haven't found me a Gaia deck. I need to get me a Gaia deck. This was the closest I could find to a Gaia deck because of what the cover looks like. It's the goddess face in a leaf, and she has green eyes. The Green Oracle have for me today. I also get this one a lot. Small things. Number 4. Card number 4. Small green gestures, a boy picking up a cigarette, a girl throwing some trash into a bin, and a panel showing the different energetic efficiencies. Sometimes ecology and nature are not just about big and great stuff. They can be about terribly practical things that may seem so naive in their own simplicity. Still, what we call green gestures may make a difference. A difference in the world, maybe, but first and foremost, a difference without ourselves, because as soon as we make the effort to do one of those gestures, we will have put something in motion. We are telling ourselves that we are not powerless against the world and that we are here doing something for the world. Divination. Every journey begins with a single humble step. Great and overwhelming things can be broken down into many approachable small things. Doing little is better than doing nothing. Embrace action and motion and let things come. It's not necessary to make the difference in order to make a difference. And what is the message for everyone else? Environment again. Nature in her wildest sense, a flowering glade with a river, birds, butterflies, rocks, and animals. This card is not about ourselves. It is meant to remind us that we live in the world and that the world does not revolve around ourselves or around mankind. The environment is something big and not easily understood. It's not the river, nor it's the grass or the flowers, nor the animals and the birds. It is not even just the sum or collection of all of those elements. The environment is a living thing, something not to be conquered, but not even preserved, like a jewel in a cage. Divination. Don't focus on yourself, but look outward. Understand the place you live in. Adapt rather than force your opinion. Take into account the needs of everyone. Do not needlessly oversimplify. And they say that the same cards will keep coming up for a reason. Because there's an importance in those particular cards that they know as humans. Sometimes you have to whack us over the head a few times before we finally get it. In here and in here. 25th of August, spell for a summer drought. Use this spell to ease a summer drought. You can cast it when no rain is in sight, when rain has been predicted but has not appeared, or when it is raining but someone else is trying to send the much needed rain away. Go outside and do any of the things that folklore associates with bringing rain, such as washing your car or hanging a load of laundry on the clothesline. While you work, chant this variant of a classic rhyme. Rain, rain, come and stay, fall all night and fall all day. Put as much passion as you can into the chant. When enough rain has fallen, use the original version to clear the skies. Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. When working weather magic, it is essential to invite the rain back later. Otherwise, it may take offense and stay anyway, causing another drought. Interesting. Real Witch's Year. Ooh, August 25th, Merlin. The legends of King Arthur, his court, knights, the Round Table, and his sorcerer, Merlin, have come down to us over the years. However, they have come to us piecemeal through surviving fragments, such as the Song of Taliesin, only being united by Geoffrey of Monmouth, whose romantic tales were written centuries after the events they depict. As a result, whilst we can be reasonably sure that there was a leader called Arthur, or Artur, and a sage called Merlin, or Merdin, there is little else we can be sure of. However, both Merlin and Arthur have become important archetypes. Whilst Arthur was the face of the Celtic warrior, Merlin represented the mystical aspect. Merlin nurtured Arthur and gave him the test of taking the sword from the stone to confirm his kingship. It seems that although Merlin spent much of his time at court as advisor, he also wandered the land and was very much free to do as he saw fit. From the surviving records, it would seem that Merlin existed for more than 100 years, and indeed Welsh history has it that Talesian was Merlin reincarnated. This has given rise to the suggestion that Merlin was a title held by several individuals. From the perspective of the craft, it is well to remember that in addition to the above, Merlin was almost certainly a druid or druid-type leader, not a witch. However, today there are many in the craft who have taken the name Merlin in honor of the tales of the skills of the original. Caption: Be generous with your smiles. After all, they're free. So, I have my own lovely little story about Merlin. I think I've mentioned it. I don't know how far back on what live stream or anything. So any of you that have already heard it, don't worry about it. But short version, while in a meditation with the coven that I was in at the time, or was trying to form with some friends that sadly I lost touch with because I moved away and I just never heard from any of them again. I hope they're all doing okay and have done better for their lives and everything. But we were doing a meditation. I was sitting in the center of the circle, and I had a very profound, unforgettable experience with the spirit of the one they call Merlin. Now, I have not been able to verify this yet, but it would really be nice to know that you're actually bloodline related to such an individual. But he named me his daughter that day. And in the legends, they never speak of Merlin having any children. So it may have been a metaphor, but it also, I believe, was his way of saying he was with me. He admired all the struggles and sufferings that I had gone through, and he would never leave my side. And he loves that I love him and Arthur so much. And whoever, even if those people didn't exist and they were someone else entirely different, I would still love to have met the actual people, whatever their names were, if that was something they went through. I can't imagine the horror of finding out that you were tricked by somebody you trusted to impregnate your own sister, who didn't know that it was her brother any more than he knew it was his sister, because that was how they kept the bloodline going. And that's always been like the thing that I disliked the most about the way they did things back then, because to me that's just wrong. And so yeah, I still consider Merlin a father to me, a spiritual father, a magical father, a druidic father. And it also helps me to understand my druid leanings towards, and I even have a druid deck. Maybe I'll start reading from it because you guys would probably love it. The deck used to belong to my mother, and it's one of the few that she actually gave me. And I told her that I would replace it, but I'm not going to, because she wouldn't appreciate it, and it would just sit around, collect dust. And she's probably long forgotten it anyway. So yeah, in that sense, I am Merlin's daughter. Yay! Okay, August 25th, the goddess of the day is Ops. Didn't know there was a goddess named Ops. Wow. The event is Oppa Concivia, and it happens in Rome. Themes: opportunity, wealth, fertility, growth. Symbols: bread, seeds, soil. About Ops, this italic goddess of fertile earth provides us with numerous opportunities to make every day more productive. In stories, Ops motivates fruit bearing, not just in plants, but also in our spirits. She also controls the wealth of the gods, making her a goddess of opulence. Works of art depicts Ops with a loaf of bread in one hand and the other outstretched, offering aid. To do today. On this day, Ops was evoked by sitting on the earth itself, where she lives in body and spirit. So, weather permitting, take yourself on a picnic lunch today, sit with Ops, and enjoy any sesame or poppy, bread stuff, bagel, roll, etc. Both types of seeds are magically aligned with Ops' money bringing power. If possible, keep a few of the seeds from the bread in your pocket or shoe so that after lunch, Ops' opportunities for financial improvements or personal growth can be with you no matter where you go. And don't forget to leave a few crumbs for the birds so they can take your magical wishes to the four corners of creation. If the weather doesn't cooperate, invoke Ops by getting as close to the earth as you can. Sit on your floor, go into the cellar. Alternatively, eat earthy foods like potatoes, root crops, or any fruit that comes from Ops' abundant storehouse. And I actually have some sesame seeds. So maybe I'll sprinkle a few in my wallet. See what happens. So Ops, hail and welcome. You are welcome here now and forever. I will light a candle for you like I do every goddess every day when I do these events myself, live stream. Sometimes I'll be on here a decent amount of time. Sometimes I'll be on here a handful of minutes and I'm gone, because let's face it, a lot of people have busy lives. They have things to do, places to go. I don't want them sitting on their couch watching my live stream, if they need to get out there and get their stuff done. I appreciate those that do watch, but don't watch it to your detriment, meaning don't let it stop you from doing things you need to get done, okay? So before I do anything else, let me go get a candle lit for her and light one of these pretty incense. Or I can light one of those. That's fine. Oh, she's already here. Well, hello. Okay. It's like I know I've got a lighter around here somewhere. I have no idea what this scent is, Ops. I just hope that you will like it and enjoy it because I'm lighting it for you. Okay, which one do you want? Do you want the cocoa? Do you want the vanilla or the vampire? Okay. I can do it before it goes out. This is my movie night cocoa. You gotta put it down kind of quick because as far down in the container as it is now, it won't take long for that glass to get hot. So I don't want to burn myself. Hey, boo. Oh, yeah, because I didn't set the alarm. See, I forgot. I'm forgetting stuff already today. Goodness me. Boo, what are you doing? What are you looking up? What is that? What is that? Ew. I hope you ain't eating something's gonna make you sick, you silly cat. Oh crap, now what? Got to delete all these anyway. Though a lot of them I can reuse. Take it you're laying down.
Nope.
Shower? He's doing another shower. We just did one recently. But it has been kind of hot and muggy out, so I can understand why he would want to take another one. Okay, 11:53 was supposed to be personal. Well, this live stream is in the personal category. And I'm doing it. Next one is 12:53, then 2:53, then 3:53, then 4:53. And the 12:53 one has to do with love. The 2:53 is work, the 3:53 is money, and the 4:53 is family. So each one I perform or do or achieve, I check mark it off so I know I've done that one. So we got 12, 50, 2, 50, 3, 50, 4, 50, 1250, 250, 350, 450. I try to get as close to the actual 1253 as I can. If I go 1255, that's a little too far. So 1250 is the closest between 50 and 53. So weirdly enough, the sun rose, according to Google, at 6:53 this morning, and all my time conversion stuff I did yesterday was also 6:53. So I'm like, that's odd that it would rise the same time 2 days in a row. Or maybe I forgot a day or wrote one too soon. Who knows? Which is possible. So at 12:50, when it goes off again, that will be something related to love. So I'm already thinking of something related to love that I could do. Because you can do family love, you can do friendship love, you can do platonic love, which is more like, how the angels love us, unconditionally. They know as humans, we're flawed. We're not in any way perfect. That's also how we learn and grow, is learning from our not so great sides, our not so great qualities, the shadow side of ourselves that we don't like to acknowledge. Like my shadow side, I don't know. I don't even know if I could describe her. There's been times when she's been so full of bitterness and vengefulness that she frightened me, the good side of me, because it's like she just wants to, I don't know, kill, maim, destroy. And I say that metaphorically because I'm not going to just suddenly go out and start killing people or any crazy shit like that. That's not me. But she can be spiteful, mean, petty, abusive, selfish. A lot of common things, that a lot of people, I'm sure, have as their shadow side as well. Impatience, for sure. And that's like on both sides of the coin, though. My good side and my dark side both have so much impatience, and such a degree of impatience that it's ridiculous. And I keep trying to improve that by looking at things differently and perceiving things differently, seeing things as a whole instead of just the parts I want to see. And I would definitely say my shadow self is my protector. She, when she feels that somebody is doing me an injustice, she goes off. I mean, like, in my dreams, she will literally choke the life out of somebody in my dream. Just this morning before I woke up, I was having a dream about, and these dreams always kind of throw me because they're like borderline nightmarish, okay? They're not so nightmarish that I wake up and then I can't go back. I don't even try to go back to sleep for 4 hours because it takes that long sometimes for me to reset my mind and clear that stuff out because it bothers me so much. It was, and I say that these type of dreams throw me because it's like I'm seeing this very apartment that I'm living in right now, but it's different, okay? Like, some of the entrances are similar. Like in the dream, the door that this chick came through with some guy that was a bully. I had one of my black cats. I don't know if it was Sunny or Moochie. They're both dead, but he stepped on his tail, and all I did was say, please be careful, don't step on my cat's tail. And he told me to shut up. And he was just really, really mean, and the chick was mean, and they went into the living room, and it's like the living room even looks different. Like in the living room, there's another door, but it's facing the west wall. And if you open that door, it goes out into a neighborhood or something, not second floor like it realistically in this reality when I'm awake is. And I had chain lock on it, had deadbolt, had a knob lock and everything. So this chick comes in and this guy, and they're just real jerks. And they go into the living room, and there's some other people in there that came through the west door. So I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they're there. My friend Normia was in the dream. She was sitting in the dining room with her back to me, and I don't know what she was doing or looking at, but the girl actually hurt her by like pinching one of her fingers or something, or she was just being mean. And at first Chris was going to defend me, but then he backed off and decided not to. So, very confusing. And it's like, why would he not defend me if somebody told me to shut up? They had no right telling me to shut up. And who are these strange people in my apartment? What's going on? Why did I let them in like I knew them, or like this place was a drug house? Because this place is not a drug house. It may have been in the past. I don't know. In another lifetime, I don't know. Maybe a place once stood here that was exactly like that. I don't know. I just know that when this particular place was built, however many years ago, however many decades ago, it started out as offices. and then sometime later was converted into apartments. That's all I know, literally all I know about this building. So at one point, I went into the living room. It was a lot darker. I remember that. It was a lot darker in the living room. And I got a very uncomfortable feeling in there, but I went in anyway. And I locked the door. I was trying to chain lock it, deadbolt it and everything because I didn't want those people back in my house. And the bitch got in somehow anyway. She came into the dining room where I was at, started on me again. And I said, now listen here, bitch. I live here. And I literally grabbed her by the throat. And then she was scared then. I literally grabbed her by the throat and started squeezing. Then I woke up and I went, whoa, what was that all about? I don't know this girl. I have never seen her before. I have never met her before. And I hope I never do. Because obviously it's going to be something bad. And I don't want a situation to ever arise from it to where I actually have to take another's life to save my own. I don't know what happened to the guy. He didn't come in with her, but I literally, I was choking this chick so badly that her eyes were bulging out. Okay. So I woke up and I went, whoa, okay. That was creepy. So I waited for a few minutes, went to the bathroom, got a drink of water, and then I went back to sleep. And then I just started chanting in my head because a lot of times this will work. Different good dreams only, different good dreams only, different good dreams only. And I'll keep chanting that and chanting it until I feel like I've chanted it enough. And I also sleep with a sodalite crystal under my bed, under my pillow, because that keeps the nightmares away. And sometimes it's under there so long that it's like it absorbs so many of the nightmares, and then I have to cleanse the poor thing because it just gets overwhelmed and overrun and overloaded with negative energies. So I have to cleanse it because otherwise, after a time, and it absorbs those negative energies, it won't work. And I'll have nightmares even with it under my pillow. So after several times of it keeping the nightmares away, I try to feel like, okay, I better cleanse this thing, but what throws me is how elements of the apartment, the way it is now, looks familiar, but then additions are added on to where it's like part my apartment and something totally different. And I'm like, what the hell is that all about? Because I have no clue. It's never made any sense to me at all. So at one point, me and Chris, I think we're in a car and we ended up in some neighborhood, and apparently I was driving. And once I realized what neighborhood I had driven us into, I let him take over the wheel, and I said, get us out of here. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I didn't realize that I had driven into this neighborhood because it was a bad one, apparently. Very bad. So yeah, that dream wasn't so great. And then it switched to what started out as a happy dream, but that one also turned bad because it was about a lost love of mine named Tommy Elkins. That at first, it was like we were still together. We were still a couple. We were still happy. We were very much in love and together and everything. And even though Chris was there, he didn't seem to mind it, but that's probably the whole poly thing with him. And I won't do that because I don't believe in it. So it was confusing to me that he wasn't the least bit upset, or didn't seem to be in the dream, that I was with somebody else and him as well. So it's stuff like that bothers me because I am monogamous. I don't believe in the whole, multiple partners and, having more than one bed partner and all this stuff. No, that's not me. But when the dream was good, I just felt happiness, just a general happiness, even if Tommy wasn't there. But because at one point in my life when I knew him, and I was a kid, I was back in before I was even a teenager, because I remember him coming to my 13th birthday party, I think it was. And literally he was the only one that showed up. And he had made up that marriage license and he put both our names on it. And I hung it on my wall. That's how serious he was about me and how quickly. Now, most of you out there might say, oh, that was just puppy love. Maybe it was. But for puppy love, it was pretty damn strong. For me to hide on the roof outside his bedroom window one night because I wanted to stay with him, and my mom had literally sent my brother to come and get me in his car, and I had literally flattened myself under Tommy's window, outside of his window, and there was with Tommy's dad's decision, but I had no choice because I didn't want his dad to go to jail because of me either, and I didn't want to give Tommy's family any more of a reason to get rid of me and to break Tommy up, which they ended up doing anyway. It wasn't his dad. It was his mother that was taken away from me. But he turned on me because of what his family did. And they split us up, and when they did so, they ripped my heart out and stomped it on the ground. They didn't care. They were going to get their way, and that was that. So I never saw Tommy again until years later when I was in East High School, and it was the beginning of the school year. I was sitting in the principal's office along with a bunch of other students and waiting for my schedule or something, I think it was. So I knew where my homeroom was, and I knew where my classes were going to be and all that kind of thing. And in walks Tommy. My heart about leapt out of my chest and ran right straight to him. I was like, oh my God. And I just, it was that same rush of feeling that I felt the first time I saw him and the first time he saw me, and we locked eyes. It was love at first sight. So those feelings were still there. Now, I can't say that he still had those feelings for me. Maybe he did, but he was afraid to do anything about it. So he told me he had a girlfriend, because later that day we ended up meeting in the gymnasium. And I was sitting with him and talking with him, and we only talked briefly for like a handful of minutes. And I told him, I said, I would like to get back together with you again. And he said, he's like, thanks, but I can't. I've got a girlfriend. But I wonder to this day if he lied about that, because he was afraid that, his family would just tear us apart again. And maybe he was feeling a little guilt for what he did with the pictures. Of me that I had trusted him with. And, kids do some weird things when they're young. They mistake love for something that it's not. And, so they were, let's just put it this way, they were naughty pictures. And he kept them hidden in his bedroom wall. He swore and promised to me, even if we broke up, that he would never show them to anybody. And then he made the mistake of showing them to this friend of his. And his friend ended up taking them from him, ended up stealing them. But then the friend's sister found out about it, got a hold of them, and took them, brought them with her to school one day, called me over to her table, which surprised me because this was one of the chicks that just would never have anything to do with me. So I was surprised when she came over and said, come here, I need to talk to you for a minute. I'm like, okay. I thought she was going to threaten me or something. I didn't know what was going on. And she just slid the envelope over to me, and she said, this doesn't make us friends or anything, but I know how much this hurt you. Somebody's done it to me before. So here's your pictures back. And I was like, I started crying, and I thanked her for giving them back to me, because I had some of Tommy too, but I kept my word. I never showed them to a single soul. Okay. And I had them in a little lockbox that I don't even know what happened to that lockbox, but I just, I never showed them to anybody. And Tommy couldn't keep that same promise. And I think that's what really kind of ripped us apart in kind of a very final way. Because like I said, we were just kids. You know how kids will do silly things like that because, they love each other so much, or what they think is love, and only to find out later that it's not. But for me, it will always be me and Tommy truly loved each other. It may have been puppy love, but if it was pretty serious. And people hated us because we were so happy. and they were just hell bent on destroying it, so they did. And how my dark side would have handled something like that, and this is what is so unsettling to me, is she would have cast some kind of really, really mean, nasty, dark spell on Tommy's whole damn family to get back at them for ripping me and Tommy apart like they did. And believe me, that has not been easy to fight, because even though he's dead, he died at the tender age of 17 in a car accident. He was driving. He lost control somehow in some loose gravel and hit a telephone pole or something or another and killed him instantly. When I found the obituary, I cried and cried and cried over him. Because sadly, the only picture that they had in the paper was a picture of him and his bitch sister that I absolutely hated, but I kept the picture because it was the last picture I ever got of the only picture I had. Until it finally probably disintegrated, because paper breaks down after so many years, and then there's no point in keeping it because you can't even see what was once on it. But yeah, when you're talking about your shadow side, I'm not saying ignore your shadow side. You've got to find a balance between your shadow side and your light side. But when you've been through the degree and depth of pain, loss, suffering that I have experienced, it makes it a constant challenge to keep my shadow self in check, because she just wants to just come out and just get them all back. She wants to come out as a spirit of vengeance and won't rest until they're all dead. Now that's frightening, that somebody could hold that much hatred, bitterness, and rage for a family in their hearts. So that's not been easy for me to deal with. And Tommy's not the only one that was done with. There was other boyfriends. It was always the mother. I remember that all the way back to my childhood when I was in kindergarten, for goodness sake. It was always the mother. There was something the mother just did not like about me. And I never figured out what it was, because I never did anything wrong. I never did anything to give that person reason to not like me, and they did anyway. So they were just determined to keep their son away from me because I'm good for nothing, or I'm just some little slut bitch hoe that I never was. But what have I learned from all of it? No one's on. It's just me. Don't judge a book by its cover. And, sometimes giving people the benefit of the doubt is just pointless, which I did for every single one of them. And they still did me wrong. They still had a problem with me. And I didn't do anything that I felt was deserving of that kind of treatment from them. So I just gave up. It's like, forget it. If this is the way it's going to be, I just won't freaking date anymore. Tired of these mothers having a problem with me. I'm just a kid, But, they say what don't you, the stronger person. And, well, I guess I'm lucky that it didn't break me. It made me the person I am today, but it also, with it came a degree of sometimes cautionary to a point of detriment, like to a point of fault, afraid to try. anymore because I don't want it to happen again, or what the heck is it going to be this time? Some family's going to have a problem with me and I'm just trying to be a friend to one of their kids. I mean, come on. Because the world is just not, the nice, fun, friendly place that it once was when it was back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and then everything just went to hell. I remember one of the things I was going to do to make up for the fact that it got cut so short the last time I tried to do it. Because it was one of those times when my brother was throwing a hissy fit because he wanted my attention and I didn't want to give it. Or felt like if I didn't give it, then I wouldn't hear the last of it from him. The ghost app. Hey, Boo. Are there any spirits here that wish to speak? Only friendly ones permitted. Any negative ones will be cast out or eaten by my witch ball that's above me, behind me. Sometimes it starts like it's going to say something and then it don't. It stops. I guess sometimes it's the spirits trying to find the right frequency that's the strongest so they can come in the strongest. If it even is, This could just simply be a bogus app and not real at all. And this could just as easily not be spirits. It's hard to determine. And sometimes it's like the signal has trouble getting through because our tower back here sucks. Because if they don't speak after a certain amount of time or no words appear in the window, then I'll just cut this one off and do one of the others. Material is the word that just came up. Material what? Material what? What do you mean by material? If this actually is a spirit talking, prove it. Right. Okay, and that means what? Because the first word it brought up the last time, which was literally the only word that I was able to write down, because I had to call my brother, was castle. So the second word was material. The third word, right. Let's see what it says next. Elderly. Okay, so you're an elder. Are you one of my elders? Are you from my family, an ancestor maybe? Carpal tunnel's already acting up. Just a simple act of holding my phone. Within a handful of seconds or minutes, my hands will start going numb. Anything else you want to say besides what you've already said? So I'm guessing it's somebody elderly. Sunset. Okay, what else would you like to say? The light of God and Goddess surrounds me. The love of God and Goddess enfolds me. The power of God and Goddess protects me. The presence of God and Goddess watches over me. Wherever I am, God and Goddess and Michael are with me. I am safe. Is this my dad trying to come through? He's really spiking. See that? Well, come on. Out with it. Is this my deceased father trying to come through? If you don't answer me soon, I'm going to switch to another one of my ghost apps. Because I'm doing a live stream and I don't want to waste a bunch of time waiting for you to say something. My dad was buried at a place that has either the name Sunrise or Sunset in it. That's why I thought elderly, castle, material, it could possibly be him. This is my dad. Prove it in a way that I cannot deny it's him. Sequence. I don't know what is meant by sequence. What do you mean by sequence? It's spiking pretty good. Like, look at that. See, now when it starts spiking like that, that means coming through really strong. Lifetime. See, it actually says lifetime. Come on, what else? What else would you like to say? Feminist? What? I don't recall my father being a feminist. Lost me because I don't know what you could possibly mean by feminist. If you're a feminist, then I don't recall anybody that I knew in life that was a feminist but is now dead. Thanks. Anything else? Because a feminist is usually someone for women, pro women, I think, or I don't know. It's hard to describe. I could care less. Go away, Chelsea. A thing popped up over here. Yank? Okay, that makes no sense to me. Feminist yank. Hang on. Okay. It said the last time I did this, aside from castle, there were some words before that. Where, narrow, diary, picked, castle, material, right, elderly, sunset, sequence, lifetime, feminist, yank. And so what I do is I'll clear the history because it can only do so many words or whatever, and then it can't do any more because you got to clear the word history. Okay, what else? Come on. Let's see how it's spiking. Leave now. Okay, are you telling me to leave or you're leaving? What do you mean by leave now? Be more specific. Okay, that's it. I've had it with this one. Let's move on to another one, because sometimes it's like, this is why it's difficult to believe it's even a spirit at all, because it's like they're speaking gibberish. It's like, none of this makes any sense to me. What the hell are you trying to say? Okay, let's try the necrometer here. What? Sorry, didn't catch that. Oh, text. Here we go. Traumatic. What's traumatic? See, at least this one you can hear a voice. What's traumatic? Did you die in a traumatic way? Or are you talking about the traumas in my life?
Blurting.
Blurting? Whatever that means. What is blurting? Never heard of such a word. Oh, great. Oh, that didn't take long.
Perforating.
Perforating. Perforating. It's not going to go in. Go left. Hang on a minute. I have to evict a roach out of my coffee. That's what I hate about having an open glass like this. If I don't hold the thing constantly, it ends up with roaches in it. Traumatic blurting, perforating, and go left. See what I mean? Gibberish. What are you trying to say? Because right now you're just speaking gibberish to me. Dramatic, blurting, perforating, and go left mean nothing to me. What are you trying to say? And again, I will say, only friendly spirits will I talk to. If you start getting nasty and saying threatening things, I will stop this session. What are you trying to say?
13.
13. What about 13? It's a number. So what? I'm not afraid of the number 13. I know a lot of other people are, but I'm not. What do you mean by 13? 13 what? Magnetic interference keeps fluctuating between 51 and 52. UT. To see the meter, it's like right, almost dead smack in the middle. What do you mean by 13? What are you trying to say? And with this one, sometimes it seems like it takes them a long time to answer. Is this really a spirit? Trying to communicate.
Merciful.
merciful. See it for yourselves, folks. Merciful. And there's all the words it said before that. But you can't bring these words back up. And these type of sessions, usually I'll write the words down and I'll try to make sense of it. But a lot of times I don't. I'm like, gibberish. Merciful. So are you asking me to be merciful? Or are you saying you're merciful, like a merciful spirit? As long as you're friendly and, I don't mind. But I don't like the negative spirits. If negative, nasty stuff starts being said, I'll stop the session. What do you mean by merciful?
Watchful.
Watchful. Merciful and watchful. Okay, so are you saying that you're a good spirit that watches over me? A spirit that's watching over me mercifully? So, a kind spirit? Come on, keep trying. Prove to me you're a spirit.
Vague.
Oh, boy. Maybe. Hopefully that'll keep the roaches out. So now you're saying maybe you're a friendly spirit.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye. Okay, goodbye. Off. Let's go to the next one. Because sometimes, as you just witnessed, they don't want to talk. And when they're saying stuff like say goodbye, then it's like, okay, they don't want to talk. So moving on. Here's another necrometer, very similar to the one I just had. And it says, we're hearing now the magnetic interference is only 42 UT. Are there any spirits that wish to communicate through this app? I'm going to turn it down some. Because that white noise can be disturbing. Why don't you wait? Wait for what? Wait for what? Why don't I wait for what? Another time to communicate because the spirits don't want to talk or something? Is that what you're saying? If so, then I'll just close this one too. It says, why don't you wait? So that's all you're going to say is, why don't you wait? Oh, UT went up 49. Dark. So are you saying it's dark where you are? Or you are a dark spirit? Because if you're a dark spirit, I'll end this session right now. I don't wish to communicate with any dark spirits. And I'm certainly not trying to make any mad. Unless you're telling me that you're one of my dark arts spirits from Creepy Hollows, then yes, I would communicate with you. What are you trying to say? What do you mean by dark? Or are you asking me wait till dark, maybe? Wait till it's dark out, like wait till night to do this? Asia. Okay, so you're in Asia, you're from Asia. What do you mean by Asia? Is it dark in Asia right now? Because, I mean, it could be a different time zone. I don't know. Does anybody know if it's dark in Asia right now, like if it's nighttime? Anything else you'd like to say? I'm the zookeeper. Okay, the first person that I think about when I think zookeeper is Jack Hanna. Are you telling me that this is Jack Hanna speaking to me? If so, hi, how you doing? How's the afterlife? Eating? Okay, so I didn't know spirit. Well, you're eating. Okay. Anything else? What are you eating? That was a weird sound. Past. Not following. How could you be eating the past? Or are you saying you miss eating because you're dead? You miss the taste of food? sometimes I can kind of try to figure these things out. Other times I'm like, you guys lost me. I don't know what you're trying to say here. Anything else you'd like to say? I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say, but I'm not perfect by any means. And I don't know what your limited word bank is. So dining room. What about the dining room? I'm not in the dining room. Are you saying you are? You're in the dining room? Or are you asking who that is? That's Chris. If you're asking who's in the dining room. He's watching some video. I have no idea what. Some of the stuff that he likes to watch, you know. Magnet fishing, a lot of times, educational videos. I never know what he's watching unless I go in there and look. Anything else you want to say? A two-headed dragon. What? Okay. So are you telling me you're a two-headed dragon? Or does it mean something else? Because I don't know of any two-headed dragons. What do you mean two-headed dragon? Are you saying you're a two-headed dragon? Two-headed dragon. I've never known of any two-headed dragons. Do any of you? Unless it's a hydra, because I know that from myth and legend, if you cut off the head of a hydra, two more grow in its place. Are you saying you're a hydra? The Silent Reaper. Well, the only thing I know of in association with Reaper is death. He reaps people's souls. Or are you saying you're a Silent Reaper? The Angry Nurse. I don't know of any angry nurses. Are you saying you're an angry nurse that died in some horrible way or something? Because, again, I don't want negative spirits. I won't talk to negative spirits. If you're angry, I'm sorry you're angry, but I don't see where it has anything to do with me. I don't want that kind of energy here. Michael, if this is a negative spirit, could you please make it leave? One more negative comment like that, and I will stop this session. Annabelle. Okay, I know about the Annabelle doll and the legend behind the Annabelle doll, that it was an angry spirit of some type that supposedly possessed this doll that was evil. Are you saying you're that type of spirit? Or that you are Annabelle, the spirit that possessed that doll? Or you're an Annabelle that I have no clue who you are? I'm not afraid of the Annabelle spirit or doll. I have no qualms with that spirit, and I don't know why it would be coming through to me, because I have never seen, I've seen versions of the doll at Spencer's, but I would never own one. What? The Moaning Sentinel now. Again, you've lost me. I don't know of any Moaning Sentinel. UT's up to 50. Okay, why are these spirits coming through to me? What about my car? I'm looking at my car now, and it seems fine. What about my car? The book house now. Okay. When I think book house, I think library, half price books, Walden Books, the Book Loft. Are you talking about one of those places? Okay, now you're saying that you're a crying reaper. I'm not familiar with such a spirit or energy, so once again, I have no idea what you're talking about here. Because these are spirits I've never heard of. The Crying Reaper especially. The Moaning Sentinel. These are spirits I've never heard of. What is the Crying Reaper? Is it a spirit that takes souls that don't like to or something? That it hurts them to take the soul because, for whatever reason? Like I said, sometimes it can be so confusing it's hard to determine what they're trying to say. Because they keep changing around, you know. The Great President of Hell. Okay. And that's it. I'm not going to talk to no spirits that are addressing themselves in such a way. Like I said, I don't want that kind of energy here. Necrophonic gives you the option of echo, white noise, or reverb. But every one of those that I have ever tried in the past, it's just too difficult to determine what is being said, because it seems like it's more just snippets of things that make no sense. Or you'll hear what sounds like somebody crying or, in agony or something like that because they're a restless spirit or something. But for the most part, it's just really difficult with any of those to determine what is being said. I've never been able to figure out anything with this particular app. But let me just start it and see what happens. See? I need clear words that I can understand. I can never make sense of any of this. If you're wanting to know what one this one is, that is the infamous Necrophonic that a lot of YouTubers used to use. I don't know if they still do. Not to mention I can't do any one of these for too long anyway because it kills my battery. I thought I actually heard like someone whispering boo to be funny. And it sounded female. This one is just too hard to, so I don't do the necrophonic very often because the sounds that you hear, it's so quick. It's hard to make out even any words. So I don't know what the big deal is about the necrophonic app, because to me it's nothing but a disappointment. You know? But yet for a while there, at least, a lot of YouTubers was using it because they seem to think it was the greatest thing since sliced cheese. Anyway, so just to make things a little more interesting this time, I decided to do my ghost apps a little bit. I did a little bit of each one. Hope y'all enjoyed that. But again, take it with a grain of salt because there's really no definitive way yet that I know of, that I have discovered, to rather prove or disprove that it's actually spirits talking and coming through, and let alone make sense of what they're saying or trying to say. That 9 times out of 10 comes out as absolute gibberish to me. So, anyway, thank you all for checking my channel out, staying as long as you did. Stay wild, my moon children, and for everybody else, be good to yourself and to everyone else. If you want change, be the change. Blessed be. See you next live.